Now we can use our knowledge of grouping to solve more complex quadratic trinomials. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. 3n squared plus n minus 2. Okay, so we will continue to use the AC method here like we previously have. Okay, so nothing changes in that regard. So, let me write A times C. So we know our A is 3. And our C is negative 2. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So we're looking for factors of negative 6 that sum to the coefficient of our linear term, which in this case is just 1. So let's try 3 and negative 2. If we add those together, we get 1, which is exactly what we want. Okay? But because our A term is something other than 1, we need to do something called splitting the middle term. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. This will allow us to completely factor this trinomial by grouping, like we previously did. Okay, so pause the video if you need more time. Alright, so let me rewrite this out again. We have 3n squared plus n minus 2. Okay, we did A times C, which was 3 times negative 2, which got us negative 6. And we had to find factors of negative 6 that summed to 1. So we said 3 and negative 2 are factors that fit that criteria. That equals 1. So we're all set. So by splitting the middle term, remember, first off, when we factor by grouping, we need 4 terms. We only have 3 terms here. Okay? So when I say split the middle term, that means I'm going to take these factors that we just found, okay, and I'm going to rewrite my middle term using these factors. So I have 3n squared. Instead of n, I'll put plus 3n, the 3 coming from this factor, minus 2n, and then of course my minus 2. Okay, so now we have 4 terms, so we can factor by grouping. All right, so again, if we take a look at this and we dissect it a little bit, in the middle here, instead of positive n, we have plus 3n minus 2n. Well, 3n minus 2n is n. We're just rewriting this equation so we can factor it by grouping. So at this point, I'll group So my GCF here is 3n, and that leaves me with n plus 1. And my GCF here would be negative 2, and that leaves me with n plus 1. Okay, so notice my terms in parentheses are the same, so that means I factored this correctly. So I know my factors of 3n squared plus n minus 2 are going to be n plus 1 and whatever is outside of parentheses, so 3n minus 2. At this point, you are ready for A9 factoring part 2.